We will now move into the next session, which will be facilitated by Mr. Richard Finger. And this session is going to be Rethinking Advising the CUNY Train. As we prepare to get into the session on Rethinking Advising the CUNY Train, we're going to start that in just a second. But I just want to remind those in person and online that we're going to have a closing session where Dr. Gardner is going to bring everything together. So we're asking all our participants to stay for that. It's going to be a very interactive and informative session. We're learning a lot today. We're being challenged as we think about and as we discuss, what do we need to do to continue building on the student success that we have here at Lehman College. So our guest speaker, Dr. Gardner, will bring that full circle for us and lead us in that discussion this afternoon. And now I'm going to turn over to Mr. Richard Finger, who is going to lead us on the discussion on Rethinking Advising the CUNY Train. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. We're really excited to be here today and to talk about our CUNY Train. Maybe we should define the CUNY Train and start off by saying what the CUNY Train stands for. TRAIN stands for Technology, Registration, and Advising Information Network. We have some guests with us. We have Dr. Lucinda Zhou with us. We have the architects, Dr. Sarmiento, the architects of the train here at Lehman with us today. And we really want to talk about what our approach to developing a flipped advising model to academic advising that can be utilized both aspects of it system-wide within the CUNY system, but other aspects of it more strategically for the individual campus looks like. The program itself is designed to support transitions, whether it be students who are transitioning from the admissions office to the advising office, or whether it be our readmission students who are returning after a time away, particularly important in the COVID era, or students who are perhaps in their first semester who are entering into their second semester and may be selecting courses for themselves for the first time. So basically what we're going to be talking about is a program that's designed for CUNY. It's designed to be shared with our CUNY colleagues. However, that is flexible enough to be individualized for each Lehman campus. A lot of work went into this program over the course of the last 8 or 9 months. And we would not be anywhere if it was not for Dr. Lucinda Zhou, who's joining us today, our Senior University Dean and Vice Provost of Academic Programs and Policy, who supported this program through some generous financial funding. Additionally, I'd like to thank Dr. Renee Sarmiento, our Vice President and Associate Provost here at Lehman, who really does support every wacky idea we come up with and really helps us to really maximize opportunities for our students. Additionally, this program was built based on not only our architect team here at Lehman, but our partners at BMCC, and a unique role that we developed in developing this program, which were our content specialists, where we reached into our staff and our teams at these institutions to really understand the nuts and bolts issues that we were hearing from our students. And whether we engage student workers or whether we engage college assistants, this program was built by a community of CUNY employees who really want to improve the process of transitions for students. So I want to just allow very quickly for the CUNY, the architects at Lehman to introduce themselves. And then I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Sarmiento and Dr. Zhou. And then from there, we have a very brief PowerPoint presentation to share with the group. And then we want to spend some time in the actual course to show you what we're so happy about and answer questions that you may have. So perhaps, Chris, do you want to kick off?
Sure. Thank you, Richard. I'm Chris Bonacore, Director of Student Success Initiatives here at Lehman.
I am Althea Ford, Senior Director of Academic Program Services at Lehman.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Moalim. I'm the Director of the Office of Academic Advisement at Lehman College, and I've never before been referred to as an architect, so thank you, Richard, for that.
And we're going to be joined by Yvette Rosario, who's our Senior Registrar. She's just going to be joining us a little bit later in the presentation. So just to get things started, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Renee Sarmiento to have her say just a couple of words.
Just a couple, Richard, because I really want to yield the majority of the time to the people who do the work. I want to thank Thank you, Provost Wosu, for an opportunity to present this CUNY-wide initiative with Dr. Zoe. We are grateful and value our relationship with the central office, and we're grateful particularly to Dr. Zoe because this is not the first time she supported some of our wacky initiatives, which has yielded some great results. This is just one of many strategies that the Division of Enrollment Management is thinking through as we grapple through the reality of having a 900-to-1 caseload and onboarding up to 2,500 new students a year. Challenges I know that exist throughout CUNY. Our hard efforts have really produced the outcomes in our transfer graduation rates, in which Provost Wosu alluded to earlier. Taking a cue from what has been done effectively in NSS using Bloom's taxonomy, we frame our work in the flipped classroom model, which entails switching up the usual model through which students encounter knowledge. In the classroom, and in this case, the advisement, students have required videos before the class meets, and then that discussion in class time, or in this case, the advisement time, is done problem solving and using active learning to assimilate new knowledge. You can see this in the presentation, our efforts to make each advisement experience for the student engaging. But in turn, we also know that advisors go through a lot of repetitiveness when they're in their sessions. So this mitigates that and gives them more time to spend with students. I want to thank our partners in BTAG, CUNY Central, our future work with ASCU in support of transfer students and the courses that they're going to take. Lisa Moallem, Ron Bergman, and Lori Austin in our transfer credit process system, T-Rex with Chris Bonacore, our articulations in this area with Ron Banks, Victor Brown, and chairs such as Dean Hurley. And I also want to thank the ringleader of all of this, Richard Finger, for all he has done behind the scenes. He truly is an unsung hero among student administrators. So thank you.
Thank you. I think others might have different words. I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Lucinda Zoe to introduce this project as well.
All right, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here to talk about this. I really could not be more excited about this project. In my almost 30 years here in CUNY, this is one of the initiatives that I think brings together so many of my biggest concerns and obsessions that I have run across, in my many years at CUNY. And one of them is, and this drives me crazy, it probably drives you all crazy as well, is that we invest all this money in technology, right? But if nobody uses the technology, or if it's not used properly, or if faculty don't use it, if students don't use it, then we have just, wasted so much of our effort and time. A few years ago, we did a series of focus groups on DegreeWorks. We were doing a big project on optimizing advisement technology. We had these technologies. We did a series of focus groups to find out, did students use DegreeWorks? Did they know how, so forth. And one of the things that really stuck with me was there was a few students who did not discover DegreeWorks until they were seniors. And they were so angry that they had missed using this tool throughout their whole student career. Like they just felt cheated that they hadn't learned about it sooner. And right now we have got all of these amazing new tools. We have Schedule Builder, we have DegreeWorks, we have T-Rex, we have CUNY First, we have EAB. We have tools that are designed really to empower students. They support a student mindset that is empowering, that puts students in charge of their education and directs them to take more responsibility for it. While at the same time, it allows advisors to spend more quality time, to use the time that they have with the students and these massive caseloads that they have to really help them navigate, the right career choices and course choices and so forth. So by employing a flipped advisement model where students can learn about all of these things and learn how to use these tools and understand them, before they go meet with their advisors. You don't have to count on the advisors to explain and teach them these sort of repetitive things over and over. Then we are really maximizing the professional time and expertise of our advisors. One of the things that I've noticed, I'm sure we all have over the years, is that when it comes to student success, advisors play a key role. And over the last couple of years, advisors are expected to do more and more, and more and more. Every time something comes up, no matter what kind of meeting I'm in, they're like, well, advisors, if they were properly advised, advisors should be doing that. I'm like, they're expected to be, floor wax, a dessert topping, everything. They're supposed to provide everything to students. And we just don't have enough of them. So the least we can do is maximize and optimize the technology that we've invested so heavily in a way that supports them to keep our students, to help recruit, retain our students. Nothing could be more important to student success than the work that advisors are doing. So I think that this project, I was so excited about it, that it not only creates a tool that really empowers students. They have these modules that students can learn to teach the students how to use these tools. It can be tailored for each college. And then also it's a made for CUNY-wide access. I think this is going to be a real game changer for student success. I couldn't be happier to be a part of it, to be aligned with these fine colleagues. I have great faith. I know every one of them personally, and have come to have great faith in their work and professionalism and commitment to students over the years. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the team and just acknowledge and thank them so much. I know I'm not going to be disappointed by the investment that we've made in this program, and I'm so excited about rolling it out across CUNY. So Richard, take it away.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your support through all of this. So we are going to jump into a PowerPoint presentation here, and I am trying to share my screen. There we go. Even though it's all right, let's do this again. There we go. Is that sharing in full screen for everybody? Okay, great. I'm going to turn it over to Chris. He's going to get us started.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Zoe and Richard. Here's a brief outline of what we're going to cover today. So we're going to do an introduction to flipped advising, walk you through some growth mindset thinking, talk about the CUNY advising train with an overview, a demo, and the adaptability of it, talk about lessons learned, our implementation schedule, and then of course allow for questions. So I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Althea to get us started on flipped advising.
Thanks, Chris. Our flipped advising approach promotes proactive engagement, preparation, and reflection. It allows advisors to anticipate student questions, concerns, and shifts the advising appointment from sessions around presented information to sessions where advisors help students with planning and long-term decision-making. Why not flipped advising, particularly when there is a large student to advisor caseload? Flipped advising can increase preparation, engagement, and communication, increase access to need-to-know content in a central location that is familiar and accessible to students, promote reflection that may not occur naturally, and make college services and resources approachable and easy to navigate. All of these outcomes can empower students to take charge of their own planning and their own academic story. As you will soon see, each unit in the CUNY advising train is embedded with micro-messaging around the concepts of exploring, reflecting, and developing. The train also offers opportunities for students to take responsibility for their own learning by emphasizing resources that promote independent thinking, problem solving, and overall growth as a student. These are attributes of growth mindsets, which we emphasize and which contribute to student success. I will now turn this over to my colleague, Richard.
Thank you. Just a bit of an overview of the CUNY Advising Train. We developed a train in partnership between us and the Borough of Manhattan Community College. And our goal was to develop a program that could be adapted for most CUNY College campuses. The goal of the course is to create an environment where students are going to be able to construct a support network of CUNY services and resources. So support among all of the standardized CUNY products, interpret and navigate CUNY advising platforms, create a balanced academic plan with general education, degree, and university requirements. You'll see some activities that we've embedded in the program in a few minutes, and locate and pursue experiential career and research opportunities. The scope of the project: we had a team of instructional designers led by flipped advising experts at the University of Florida. We had our advisors, registrar staff, our Blackboard administrators, and our studio staff that worked with us to make this project a reality. In emphasizing adaptability and flexibility, we were sure that along the way that we made the course as generic as possible to relate to all CUNY campuses, while allowing each campus to insert their own flair or procedures to maximize learning. The project has been morphed, it's been shared with students, it's been shared with advising offices, with the goal of us launching this project to all of our incoming students during the spring 22 semester. I'm going to turn it over to Lisa now.
Thanks, Richard. So I want to talk a little bit about the actual structure of this train. And as you'll see, the train is comprised of 3 units or sections of the course, and you see them listed there on the right side of your screen. Unit 1 is called Educate, and this unit introduces the advising structure at Lehman, the curriculum, and our technology systems that are utilized in the advisement process. Unit 2, called Engage, connects the content from Unit 1 into actionable items for students, such as exploring and declaring their major and creating an academic plan. And Unit 3, called Empower, helps students in taking the next steps to make the most of their academic journey. And then each unit is then further broken down into individual modules. And the modules are the smaller sections of the unit. So if we think of this course as a book, then the unit would be analogous to a section or part of the book, and then the modules would be analogous to individual chapters within the book. And within each module, students will see videos that were created by advisors or other subject matter experts on campus, such as representatives from the Career Development and Exploration Center. They will see additional readings and resources to further enhance their learning. They will see downloadable and fillable templates that they could work on. And they'll also have brief quizzes just to ensure that they've understood the content of that module. And here you see the name of each of our units and our modules. And as you can see, there are currently 3 units and a total of 6 modules. And the reason I say currently is because we're not thinking of this as a fixed course, but rather as a growing volume of resources that will continue to grow and continue to expand along with our services. Next slide, please, Richard. So one important note to highlight in this project is the transferability of this course across CUNY, and the pun is intended there. This course is very transferable. The layout of each module can be modified to any other CUNY campus. As we mentioned earlier, we partnered with BMCC in creating this course. And so the version that we're going to demonstrate here is the Lehman version of this train, and BMCC has its own version that they're using on their own campus. In designing the content and the resources for this course, we were very mindful of wanting to strike a balance between making this course specific enough to Lehman so that it would be valuable for our students, but at the same time, we also wanted to be broad enough so that it could be adapted by our sister institutions. And having BMCC representatives on board with us allowed us to ensure the applicability of the information across CUNY. So if we flip back to the previous slide for a second, you'll see that certain modules are designated with an asterisk to note that these modules consist of content that's applicable across CUNY. And what you'll see is that the balance that we struck is actually exactly 50%. Half of our modules are Lehman specific, and half of them are adaptable to CUNY. So clearly the module that discusses the advising landscape, the process of declaring a major, and how to make the most of your Lehman degree are the Lehman specific modules. But academic requirements, navigating academic systems, and creating an academic plan are ready to launch at other CUNY schools. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Chris, who'll keep us going here.
Thank you, Lisa. So we think of this in three different ways in how we can flip advising. So first, by providing some general guidance, by inquiring about progress and concerns, as well as pointing students to a step-by-step guide in how to meet with an advisor or navigating complicated systems like DegreeWorks and CUNY First. Then we can encourage program exploration by guiding students towards visiting advising units as previously outlined, and encouraging them to complete career assessments and explore new programs. And then finally, we can promote academic planning by having students appreciate their unique challenges, ask them about their obligations, and empower them to make the most of their time in college by identifying experiential learning opportunities from Module 6. So what is the timeline for us? So through the end of this month, we're reviewing the program with the advising units and adapting modules to reflect the EAB Navigate implementation that is ongoing here at Lehman. So beginning November 1st and through winter and spring registration, we'll be enrolling incoming transfer students into the program, and it'll serve as a bridge between admission and advisement. Second degrees can be enrolled in a variation of the program that excludes information about pathways, and readmits and stop-outs will be enrolled in a variation that helps them reacclimate to degree requirements and the proper use of our systems. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, no, just frozen.
And then as we look into the future, we're considering embedding elements into our first year seminar. We're working with our coordinator of orientation programs to embed elements such as the systems overview into the online orientation for first year and incoming transfer students. Working with adult degree and ACE programs to embed elements into their onboarding process, as well as specific program courses. And then we've already been contacted by York College, and we're going to be meeting with them for an implementation on their campus. And we love to collaborate across CUNY, so please reach out if there's anyone out there who would like to meet with us and discuss about implementing on your campus. Okay. And now I'm going to hand it back over to Richard, who's going to talk us through a live demo of the train.
Okay, so let me stop sharing and we're going to switch up into the actual system. All right. Now here I'm going to rely on my colleagues here on the panel that if something is going wrong to let me know. Okay. So everybody can see this, right? Okay. So we're in the actual Blackboard course. And as you can see, the CUNY advising train is broken into 3 units, Unit 1 being Educate, Unit 2 being Engage, and Unit 3 being Empower. Let's jump into Unit 1, Educate. So if we jump into Unit 1, Educate, you'll see that the Educate unit is comprised of 3 modules, like as Lisa mentioned. College support for advising. We have Module 2, which is understanding academic requirements, and Module 3, which is navigating academic systems. Let's take a moment just to look at college support of advising, just to get a sense of how the modules are structured. You'll notice that for each module, there's a module overview that includes the objectives, the learning objectives for the module. And then there's a to-do list. In some cases, the to-do list has a video. In some cases, the to-do list may have an activity. If there's a video that's embedded in the modules, we were sure to ensure that it's ADA compliant. We have slides and scripts available for each video. And then each module ends with a quiz. So we can assess learning and get a sense of what the students' understanding or takeaways were from the module. So while this particular video is under development in post-pandemic production for quality, I did want to show you one video, a very short clip of one video from the pre-health advising office. So Dr. Calvin, who many of you know on the campus and at CUNY, who runs our pre-health advising office, recorded this video. So let's see here. I'm going to hit play.
I advise students who are interested in any of the following careers. They want to be a doctor, including specialties such as psychiatry or surgery or pediatrics. They want to be a dentist or an optometrist or a pharmacist, a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, a physician assistant, a genetic counselor, or a veterinarian. At Lehman, we refer to these as the advanced health professions.
And I don't think we need to go beyond that, but just to give you a taste of what's in there, there's a similar video for our ACE students, our adult degree students, our first-year students who are served by the GPS program, our pre-nursing students, SEEK students, etc. So Module 2, Understanding Academic Requirements, takes students through what their pathways and generic degree requirements are. Here's another great example of where we've learned a lot over the last few months as we've been seeking input from different groups. While this video is great and it's 16 minutes long, nobody really wants to listen to a 16-minute video. So what we're in the process of doing is breaking this into multiple videos, chapters of sorts, where users of the program are going to be able to get specific information on different aspects of the pathways curriculum, major requirements, minor requirements, liberal arts requirements, all those things that constitute a degree requirement. Has Yvette joined us? I'm not able to see from my view.
Here.
Okay, so Yvette, I introduced you before. Maybe you can introduce yourself for a second, and then quickly, and then we'll get into navigating academic systems.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. Oh, thank you for joining us here. My name is Yvette Rosario, and I'm the Senior Registrar at Lehman. Just to piggyback on everything that Richard has demonstrated on these modules, Module 3 was navigating systems. And we all know how students need a refresher course when they stop out, and new students coming into the college because they may have not come from a CUNY school. So we created videos for all student-facing CUNY software, which students will need to use throughout their academic career. We created 2 videos for CUNY First, one on how to navigate students' records, such as their student service center, to-do lists, they could see their holds, and another video will assist students navigate the financial aid pages, which we all know can be very, very tricky. We have a module on DegreeWorks, which includes the Student Educational Planner. And of course, Schedule Builder, which I feel is the greatest system CUNY has really implemented. And also we have our own Lehman 360, which is an online platform that places students at the heart of the school's digital ecosystems, while giving students and faculty and administrators the important information they need to work faster, smoother, and more efficiently. Lehman 360 has student-facing workflows developed by different offices and departments in collaboration with IT. These workflows address students' requests to declare their major, to repeat a course that they received a passing grade, requests to enroll for more than 18 credits for a specific term, and lastly, submit their transfer credit for evaluation. So I want to demo Schedule Builder. So Richard, why don't you click on that? And all of our modules, as Richard mentioned, have a script, have slides, some have videos, and they all have a little quiz so that we know students have really learned through this whole process. So why don't we click on Schedule Builder and we can see a little bit here.
On the top left-hand corner, you'll see.
Watch this short video on what to do before searching for courses on Schedule Builder.
Before we get to the interesting part like adding courses, building schedules, let's first do some configuring. On the top left-hand corner, you'll see colleges and instruction modes. If we expand colleges, you'll see all the CUNY colleges listed out. Let's just make sure we're set to Lehman College for this one.
Hey, Richard, do you want
For
to
instruction
expand your
modes,
screen?
you have either in-person, hybrid, or online. Ticking these boxes will either filter in or filter out the courses that you see when using the search engine. If you're unsure what these modalities are, let's squeeze in a quick lesson. For in-person, all required class class meetings occur on campus during scheduled meeting times. These courses are considered synchronous because they follow a specific schedule. Next, we have the online modality. And if your first thought was, well, if in-person only occurs on campus and online only occurs online, then you get a point because you're definitely right. These courses can either be synchronous or asynchronous. Asynchronous just means that you don't need to log into a virtual classroom at a specific time.
And I think that's a good sample of the schedule builder video.
Absolutely. And we have videos similar like this for degree works. And what I find that this is really important for students that stopped out. If a student stopped out 3 years ago, Schedule Builder is brand new for them. So this is really key for you to use for those students that have stopped out in my world, because they really need to be introduced to these different applications and how to utilize them through their academic career. Richard, I think we're ready to take any questions or maybe share more videos.
I think we're going to keep going through it, and then we'll answer questions, and we'll even be able to poke around if folks want to see other aspects of this when we're done with the demo. So let's go into unit number 2, which is Engage. Engaged is comprised of exploring and declaring your major, as well as creating an academic plan. So the module 4, exploring and declaring your major, lets students know not only what they need to know before declaring a major, they're able to review the available majors, reflect on their choices, and declare a major. For us at Lehman, we know we utilize an automated workflow for major declaration. Let's just take a quick look at review available majors. So here we have the academic departments, programs page, and bulletin archive, all available to students. Similarly, under declare a major, you're able to have another video, which we won't get into, that takes students through the I declare process. And for many of our colleagues in academic affairs, you know that this sometimes is a challenge for students who are trying to declare their major. In module 5, creating an academic plan, we introduce a video called 8 Big and 4 Little Questions to Ponder when creating a balanced semester. These came from our academic advisors at both institutions, who took a look at what those frequently asked questions were from students when they were doing initial advising sessions. In addition, we created some exercises here. Let's take a quick look at just one of them, time calculation. In our time calculation, we introduce students to a tool that basically has them go through a series of activities on how they spend their 168-hour week. And then from there, going into a weekly plan template that allows them to see exactly how school would fit into that template. All very useful information for students as they're considering whether to be full-time or part-time, what their course load looks like, and what the in-person or online modalities of their courses are. And then finally, we get into unit 3, which is Empower. Empower is made up of the Taking the Next Steps module. This unit serves as a recap of everything that's been covered in the course up to that point. And then it links the students back to key elements of the train, as you see here, while also sharing ways in which the student can gain information about experiential learning at the campus, how they can contribute to research and creative works at the campus, and how to engage in international activities like study abroad. We also introduce students to their next destination after graduation, how to connect with our pre-graduate advisors, our graduate admissions office, our prestigious awards program, as well as our pre-health advising office. And then, of course, Career Exploration and Development Center is where students can go to prepare for their future career. And the CEDC is really a lockstep partner with our advising offices in many ways. So I'm going to stop right here unless anybody from the panel wants me to navigate somewhere else, and then we could start to take some questions from the group, and I'd be happy to go back into this into the program as well if people want to see anything else. Did anybody have anything they wanted me to show quickly before I stop sharing for a minute? Okay. So we're happy to take questions.
Richard, I think there's a question on chat. Dean Hurley, she's asked actually if faculty.
Yeah, I think, Dean, that's a really spectacular question. And yes, we could create a version of this for faculty to give them access to the course. Yeah, absolutely. We've also heard from some faculty that they may be interested in embedding pieces of this course into their actual courses. So as we've been chatting with faculty, we've heard that, and it's something that we are absolutely able to do. We've been working with Steve Castellano, who's our Blackboard administrator here at Lehman, and he has been really spectacular in giving us ideas on the best way to do this.
Richard, Dean also asked earlier, what stage of the enrollment will this be part of the student's record?
We are going to try to release this at the point of admission, so that way the student has a CUNY logon and we can enroll them in this course and we can direct them to the course via Blackboard.
We could also use the course for any student, as I mentioned before, that stopped out, and they could also take this course.
And Annie, so the idea here is that we've developed, most of the modules here are CUNY-wide modules. So the idea is that we can, this can be moved over to most if not all CUNY campuses, and then the flexibility is there to develop campus-specific information. Like every campus might have a different way of declaring a major or different local systems that students use. So they'll be able to build upon this for their local campus processes.
Yes, absolutely. The systems that module 3, which is navigating the systems, are all CUNY systems except for Lehman 360, which is our specific work flow. But they could really be used as soon as you get these, because it's all about how to navigate these systems, and it's the same for all of us.
And for some modules, I'll just say, for example, the module that discusses the academic requirements, we actually created 2 versions. We created a Lehman specific version, which talks about some of our very own specific rules about college option and writing intensive and things like that. But then we created a CUNY-wide version that just talks about pathways, which is common across all CUNY. So we really tried to bear that in mind, that we wanted this not just to be a Lehman resource, but more of a CUNY resource.
Yeah, and I think Denise asked a great question. Are we going to try to embed it in our freshman year seminars? And we certainly are looking at that. I will share that, and I'm so happy to hear these great comments. And I know Julie maybe said fantastic, and Julie and I go back and forth a lot about how does a student pay their bill. And maybe we should give a sneak peek on where this is going. So as we implement this year, Chris, Yvette, and our colleagues in the Bursar and Financial Aid Office have received funding from another organization to answer the age-old CUNY question, how do I pay my bill? Including all aspects of financial aid and TAP and Excelsior and all of those things. So that's really our next iteration of it. I just thought I'd shamelessly plug that, Julie, because you and I talk so much about financial aid.
Yeah, we're so excited about that, for sure.
So Basilia had asked, and the questions kind of got, Basilia asked, do we plan on sharing the course completion outcomes with others? Yes. Yeah, we definitely do. And our plans is that as we start to have significant amounts of data to look at this spring, to really not only improve the actual modules and build on the modules, but also really change the way our advising sessions are conducted in some ways, in terms of what we focus greater amounts of time covering with the student to make sure that they're able to navigate systems and understand curriculum better.
I would comment that we need to make come up with a plan for how we are going to roll this out across the system. So how people can, are we going to put like the access to the modules that are that are accessible to anybody in CUNY, available through the CUNY website? Are we going to then, what would be the procedure for a campus to be able to get the kind of background coding so that they could then tailor it for themselves? and then what that might look like a little manual or a little process, like who on your campus would need to be involved to make it, to make it more tailored to your specific campus. But I love this, what we've done, because they're piloting it now, and then we'll be able to give more specific direction on how, we can get it across CUNY.
Great. Thank you. Elena, you have some questions in the theater.
Yes, I just wanted to point out if anyone in person has any questions, and I know Dr. Gardner had a question, so I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to him.
Thank you. Actually, like a good academic, I'd like to preface my question or questions with some remarks. I'm a non-CUNY person, at least, well, I'm an official CUNY, honorary CUNY person for a day, but primarily my perspective on what I've just heard is as someone from the larger higher education community. First of all, I think you might want to retitle this session, and I quote, "The Power of Wacky Ideas." I'm serious. This is really a tremendously significant message about, just looking at you all on the screen, the diversity of age and gender and backgrounds, your offices, your apartments. This is a powerful message you've put together here. I love it. You use the term course. That's a very ambiguous meaning. It has a meaning, but I kept listening to this. How is this a course? How is this a course? And I think you've suggested that it has the potential to be a course. I think it has enormous potential for American higher education to be used in a more traditional course format. And I would invite you to think about that without giving up, compromising what you're trying to do here. I could see an e-book coming out of this. I could see infinite possibilities for customization of this. I would think I could even name a foundation that I would think might be willing to invest in this. The entrepreneurial perspectives or potential for this is just enormous. I'm wondering how you're going to share this with the National Academic Advising Association. I'm wondering if it could be used in Bronx high schools if students are taking dual credit, AP credit. In effect, some of them are already transfer students. They're coming to college with transfer. They're not starting initially. So this might be a way to incentivize Bronx students, high school students, to see how manageable and understandable college is, that you're making it. I get so. You're talking about a course, and you're going to pilot it this spring. Is there going to be academic credit assigned to that question? And have you got one or more doctoral students all ready to do a dissertation on the impact of this on CUNY students starting in the spring? This is a gold mine. Yeah, I can't conceal my excitement. So congratulations.
Thank you. I want to answer a part of that question, and then I'll pass it on to my colleagues whose brilliance, have brought this to life. It has been designed as a course, like a student they're taking these different modules. It's sort of point of use. You don't have to start at the beginning and go all through. You can sort of pick different modules at different times that you need to use. But I would point out that this was funded. I'd initially gotten a grant in collaboration with Complete College America. This was funded through the Booth Ferris Foundation. And then Complete College America works really closely with NCADA, with the National Professional Advisement Association. They are very excited about what we're doing here. So we're already in communication with the national advisement community and professional community and landscape, as well as Complete College America. So they have every intention of promoting this and getting more information out about it. I'm thrilled at the prospect of, really even taking it bigger, but knowing that we have NCADA and CCA behind us on this project, I do think it does have legs. And it is one of those things that can really put CUNY and what we're doing here on the national map, which we should be, because we're so big. We have 24 different campuses. We're addressing and dealing with, massive challenges in getting our students, recruiting them, retaining them, keeping them, getting them through our academic programs. And in this world of so much technology, but if we don't have the tools to really instruct students to use them and maximize their use, we're not maximizing our own resources. So anyway, that was I just wanted you to know about our connections already with a larger community outside of CUNY. But Richard, Chris, you all may want to answer more questions about the course nature of this.
Yeah, I would just add with NACADA, until my term just expired, but I sat on their National Professional Development Committee for the last few years. And this is really exciting. This is what they're grappling with, I think, as an industry right now, advising as an industry within higher education. It's something that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, as we've heard multiple times, the enormous caseloads that we work with at Lehman and at CUNY and across public higher education, this really helps students get the information in a timely manner and make those sessions more useful. It's so important.
And it also helps students navigate the system so that when they do have this advising session, they know the degree order, they know what classes that advising session could really take another turn and talk about other things, more aspirational instead of more of logistical. Let's see if this class is open, and if you have if this is the class that you need to take. So I really feel that it's going to really change how advising is for students.
And before we close, I know we're running out of time, but I just wanted to say I'm so happy to hear all these accolades coming from our community, but I really want to redirect those to the people who wrote the content for this project. And those are our advisors, all the folks in the registrar's office, career development office. They are the ones who put this together. And so we are here to showcase it, but they were the work behind it. And we're so grateful for them for all the effort that they put into this.
I think a big lesson, and Richard sort of mentioned this in the beginning, we had participation from college assistants through vice presidents and university deans. Like it was every level of the organization that was involved in making this effective. So I think that's a big lesson that's really important for other colleges that want to implement something like this.
We do have one more question from Elena. Just because I'm monitoring the chat here.
I'm just going to pass the mic. I took it off. Hey guys, this sounds great. It's amazing. It's Deirdre. Oh boy, I'm hiding behind my mask. You guys are the first level of this advising, and I'm just wondering, because I think Dr. Gardner mentioned, would this be part of a course? Because it is an extensive piece of information for students. Because I can see this working at departmental levels too, and students, we've been talking about this as a department, buying into kind of watching through the process so that we spend more quality time advising students on things they can do with the major or courses of their interest, rather than clicking departmental permissions and just kind of going through the paperwork motions. So I guess I can volunteer my department because I'm the only one here. So maybe we can talk about how the English department can look at this from the major standpoint. Thank you.
That would be spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, the design.
Go ahead, Chris, I'll let you.
Yeah, the design is flexible enough. We thought about it in terms of expanding to other CUNYs and obviously expanding to other departments. The design is really flexible to add and pick and choose different elements of the course for different areas. So I think that's a really great point, Deidre.
And again, this isn't the body that we created is not a fixed course as it is. It's going to continue evolving. We were working under a very tight timeline because of the funding stream. And so we kind of took a first stab at it and put together what we could within that very fixed time frame. But we're so happy to work collaboratively within our own institution and across CUNY, because the more content we build into this and the more we face off with our partners, the stronger it will be for everybody. So thank you, Deirdre, for volunteering that.
Okay, I think that is, we don't have any other questions. Does anybody want to say some last words? Do we want to close this out, or does everybody want to run to lunch? Well, virtual lunch. All right, thank you very much, everybody. This was really great, and this has been a great day, and we're really looking forward to sharing more about this as we continue to implement and expand this across the university. Thank you.
Thank you all. I just wanted to take a second to say thank you all for your amazing teamwork, for managing the virtual room amazingly well. And I'm going to transition to Elena, who will just take us off and send us off into lunch. Thank you again. Have a good afternoon.